to the Batcave.
Click on to answer to it.
Well, it's the voice. That's all that matters. It is the voice of Batman, you know.
I guess some were led to believe that anyway. What's up?
I just want to give you a hug, man. You know, I mean, you're an inspiration to me in the things that you're doing, and you know.
You mean drinking beer and chasing women?
Well, I didn't get to the refrigerator quick enough. You frickin' called. I was going out to get a beer.
Oh.
And I said, "There's Batman." I'll go back and I'll get the beer later.
Well, if you want to go ahead, I'm in.
No,
I'll be here.
I got half a beer left. That was, you know, but I would have come back, my friend. So, but hey, somebody who's a friend of yours or Boris's, and his email address, I won't give you the whole email address. FLARON.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is, but you know, he says it's a friend of yours and Boris's.
could be.
Yeah.
Don't ring a bell at the moment, but then again,
Okay.
there's a lot of them. So.
Yeah. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I put out a paper that I wrote. You know, I was inspired to write this paper and spent 3.5 days just typing, right? And what I had done is I had been spending time reading Blackstone's commentaries on law,
Yeah.
400-year-old law book. Because it occurred to me, because of something somebody had told me before, and I checked it out, that, you know, there's a difference between a person and a people. Well, what is it? Well, if you're a people, you're land. And under common law, that's what your body is. So that's one of your persons, right, is your land. Well, that is your inheritance from the Creator.
Well, I asked the guy the other day, is the Creator dead?
He's creating every day, brother. He's waiting for us to wake up.
Well, the thing of it is, then, if he's still alive, all we got is use of these things.
Well,
is it our
brother,
inheritance yet? Do we fill the bill?
But,
Children of the Creator?
No, and that's why we don't have it, because we haven't met the frickin' test.
The thing of it is, could the test simply be till we grow up, we're using it, and be happy with that instead of causing controversies by claiming ownership?
Yes, exactly. It is that fucking simple, my friend. You just need to go to peace.
Get over yourself. That's what I tell you.
Exactly, man. Because in common law, ownership only means the right of use. It doesn't mean you claim anything. It says the only thing you own is your territory, which the Creator gave you. Everything else is public property.
Yeah, but did the Creator really give us anything?
Well, he gave you the body you're in.
Did he give it to us, or it's only here to use? Do we get to keep it?
Well, okay, brother, and I'm going to
Well,
answer.
I'm just asking. I mean, you know.
You can ask,
If
and
I
now
offend you, please forgive me.
you can't offend me, my friend. I'm Teflon.
Okay.
But nevertheless, if you ask me a question, you have to give me the time to answer. And my answers aren't 20-second sound bites. You know, that's not how I work. So.
I figure if you're talking much longer than that, it's you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I know.
Take offense.
No, well, I'm not offended. No. But see, I got that from my brother because I'm trying to explain this to him. He says, "Bob, it's way too much too fast." You know, I said, "What do you want, John?" He says, "I want a 20-second sound bite." I said, "Well, if you ever get pulled over, just tell the cop you're an immortal living soul created in the image of God, and he has no jurisdiction. And if he thinks he does, brother, you should call somebody because you don't."
Everybody's a liar, and you just lied to him. You want my opinion? How can you give him a negative, too? On top of it, you gave him an impossibility to law to fill. How can he prove a negative?
What I did is I gave him a fucking order because I am a people, and you took an oath to be a person. Period.
Well, did he take it with you?
Yes.
When? Oh, you guys met up before he pulled you over, and you guys had a deal.
I'm talking about how the system is set up.
I am too. I believe so, anyway.
Well, all right. Well, then let's get back to what you first asked. You know, because we're already down a rabbit hole. We don't need to go down. I'm not at war with you at all, brother. I agree with everything you say.
What's this sweet? What makes you think I'm down a rabbit hole? Anyway, go ahead.
No. Me and you were headed down a rabbit hole. We didn't need to go. That's what I meant by that. I'm not saying that you are. No, you're right on point.
Sure.
Brother.
Am I?
I don't know. Well, listen, I don't want to try to sell you on anything, and that's not my intention.
Well,
But
why'd you say such a thing then? Could you have a guilty conscience?
no, I'm trying to go back to peace because,
What do you mean?
you know,
When were
that
when were we not
I'm at.
at peace?
All right, no, listen, brother, I'm sorry,
Why are you apologizing?
because that's what nations do when they think they've offended somebody.
Oh,
Or you're at war, and you can live under civil law if you want to, or you
have
can go
I?
to
Have
common
I?
law, the law of peace.
Wait a minute. Have I accused you of offending me?
You don't have to for me to beg forgiveness. I can think that I have, and that's good enough for me. It doesn't matter what you
Okay,
think.
yeah,
It matters
yeah.
what I think.
Who am I to argue with what you believe? Okay.
There you go, man. Don't argue with what I believe. However you want to live your life is fine.
I'd like to
But
recall.
if I think I have offended somebody, I will say I'm sorry.
I like to recall when I was arguing with you, though. It was.
Because we're down talking about this instead of what I wanted to present, and to me it's a rabbit hole, and I don't want to get in a rabbit hole.
Well, the point of the matter is, when have I offended you, though? Well, not the original point, but is asking questions offensive?
Not necessarily.
You see my point?
On the context, brother.
Well, I should
It's
say,
all
you see
about the tone.
You see the point? I'm talking the tone. You got to get over the tone, my friend. Well, I don't say you got to. I recommend it highly because the judge will use all kinds of tones to get you starting to think and make accusations against yourself.
Look, all right.
Okay.
See, you don't know me or anything that I've done. You're just taking your perception that some dude you never talked to on the phone is telling you something that is new to you, and you're putting your reflection on it, and that's okay. But I haven't had a chance to tell anything yet, except go into this. So if this is where we are, I'm okay with it. But
I'll let you go ahead. Like I said, if I offend you, please forgive me. I'll shut up and let you get what you feel you need to say there. Okay?
All right. Well, I listen, buddy. I'm not here to say anything other than I've had some experience with Treasury agents, right, with papers laid out that I may have had something to do with. And I did. I said, yeah. I said, well, that's not mine. Mine has a blue ink signature on it. It was accepted for payment, and they never returned my check. So, would you check with these people to find out what happened? So, I had a chance to sit down with Treasury agents for an hour and a half. What can be gleaned from that conversation might be helpful to somebody else, or not. Because I came home. And they bought the coffee.
True. Cool.
So, and there was all sorts of things there. And I said, John, at the end of the day, I'm an immortal living soul, created in the image of God. You don't have any jurisdiction over people. And he said, there's lots of people in jail. I said, well, no, John, there's no people in jail. There's only persons. If they knew they were in jail, if they knew they were people, they wouldn't be in jail. I mean, he gave me lots of clues, and you and Boris have gotten lots of clues, and I'm telling you guys are right. From what I can see, I'm not saying that I know, but I can say you guys are right in the right spot. All Boris needs to do is tell the guy, take my birth certificate and give it to the common law coroner to collect the king's rent and benefice, which is yours, man. And all that's going to do, look, they're not going to bring you a pile of gold. What they're going to do is cancel out all the debt against your name. That's what happens. It isn't about getting money in your hand. This cancels the debt or the sin against your name. And if some people think that's a big deal.
How many of the back calls have you listened to?
I listened to a number of them. Listen, I never listened to them all the way through because, some go on for quite long. And,
true.
But I listened to a lot of them, brother. And I hear things that people say. Boris had he had the coroner. Step into his case, or at least that's what it sounded like to me, but that's why I'm calling. Is that who showed up?
Yeah, and he's been giving them.
And he's paying the bills.
It seems, I haven't talked to him lately, but it seems,
And they gave him 6 months to see if he could figure the rest of it out, and he's right there. He has them doing something, and if he gives the order, if he makes that guy, that business card, his man under common law, then that man will do whatever he tells him to do.
Possibly. Thing of it is, I think it's better to ask people than to tell them. And if it's their duties and jobs, I believe they know it and they'll get it.
Well, that's just it. It is
Thing
their
is,
duty.
the thing is asking the right questions.
No, you have to, well, I'm not disagreeing with that, but you have to establish your status.
Well, that's why the way you act, I believe. Yeah.
You have to tell them who you are, because they won't rebut that, because that would make them a heretic.
Well,
they cannot rebut that you are an immortal living soul created in the image of God.
Well,
From their office, or they're labeled a heretic, and now the Jesuits get involved. And they're just the referees, man. They make sure the people in the public play by the rules. King, queens, doesn't matter.
Maybe so, but the way I look at it is it's more asking and wanting to stay in honor and the best for everyone at hand, and that's how they're going to know whether you...
Well, what does a king do? The king doesn't ask questions. He takes in information and gives an order. That's what a king does. He may ask questions to get information to make a decision, but at the end of the day, he's the king because he makes the decisions.
Well, I believe the king needs to ask, and the agents that swore oaths and whatnot to uphold the law, they will find, and if they don't know, tell them to ask the agents above them. Right. Because I'll tell you, I'd hate to see it happen, but I believe if they ever, by chance, take me into a courtroom again, some of them agents might be finding themselves looking at felony charges by their own admissions.
Well, that doesn't sound peaceful.
Well, if they want to do it and break the law, ignorance of the law is no excuse. All I'm going to be doing is asking them the questions. Do you know what? I told you I believe I'm a peaceful inhabitant, right? He says, yes. I says, did you have any evidence to believe otherwise? And let him go silent. I says, and what did you do? You took me and you locked me in jail. Is that kidnapping?
That's why I told the treasury agents, you can't arrest me. I'm not a commodity. You can kidnap me.
Well, that's like telling a guy with a gun to your head he can't shoot you. I don't know. I
did, and the man shook my hand and said, that's the most intelligent explanation I've ever heard for why somebody believes. And he told me that 3 times in this conversation.
Well,
he was telling me things, brother.
But some of them cops don't look at it like that. You start telling them what to do, and they got the guns. I mean, I'd rather ask them. I can see I've had better success that way. That's just my experience.
I'm not talking about right, and I'm not talking about the cop in a car, right? Because he doesn't know. He's as dumb as anybody else is, man. He only knows what they told him.
That's why.
When you get to a judicial magistrate of some level, he knows exactly what you say what that means.
I agree.
And that's who I'm going to talk to. I'm not going to go in their court. I'm going to take my court to his office and say, this is who I am. Make this go away.
I agree. Higher ups, they know better, but
well, that's what I deal with. I don't deal with a fucking peon, man. I go to the top, you know. I'm going to go to the guy and give me my relief.
Sometimes that doesn't always happen that way, you know. But I'm just saying, I find it to ask the questions and stay on point. I believe it's more effective. But each their own. If it works for you, God bless you. You know?
Well, I'm just trying to get to the end game, you know. And I've heard you say in your own calls, look, you don't know it all.
No.
But you've gotten this far. What is the rest? You know. Well, what is the rest? The rest is getting rid of the frickin' debt against your name.
Well, it ain't my name to worry about anyway. I use it. What's the problem?
You have the right of use. You see, you have a lease. Everybody says it's a will or whatever they call the birth certificate. It's a frickin' lease done under common law.
As far as I look at the birth certificate as a gift certificate, it's there for us to use if we use it properly. But once we start claiming ownership, then we're going to get the tax. That's the way I understand it.
Oh, well, you're using ownership as legal, and ownership in common law is just the right of use, man. Just like you only have the right of use of that.
But then again, what rights does anybody have in the first place?
The rights that came from the Creator, dominion.
Well, but you think rights, and by the way, that's all hearsay to me anyway. Rights, in my opinion, if you had rights, you know, like I say to people.
You only have the right of use, brother. When I say rights, you have the right of use, and you have the right to peace. And if somebody breaks your right to peace, then they're the belligerent, not you.
But a right is supposed to be something that can't be taken away, right?
Exactly. I'm not letting them take it away from me now that I know. They're not taking it away.
Then I got this question for you. Did you ever ask a dead man what happened to his right to breathe?
I don't care about the body. I know his spirit's alive, and that's all that mattered. Everything else is fiction. It goes back to the earth. It goes back to the landlord. That's what the law says. Whatever the heirs don't claim, of the land goes back to the landlord, which is the creator. I'm not,
Yeah,
the
but
spirit is alive and it's going somewhere else. Wherever it was meant to go, it's going to now.
That's right, and it still comes down to what rights does anybody really have?
Well, all right. Someone's running the show, brother. If there's a creator, someone's running the show.
Yeah.
And if you go to peace and live your life in peace, no one has any right to disturb your peace. And especially the public, because they took an oath to be your vassal. That's what the oath is.
Who has any rights whatsoever? Do you even have a right to peace?
Yes. I have every right to peace.
Well, sounds like somebody at war to me.
I'm at war because I want peace? I mean, that's a contradiction in terms, my friend.
Well?
I'm at war because I want peace, and I'm fucking wrong?
Did I say... Wait a minute.
You just said it sounds like somebody wants war going to peace. You just said I'm going to war.
Now you're twisting your words.
That will defend itself at all. I'm using your words.
You're saying you have a right to peace. And
yes, you said I sound like I'm going to war, going to peace, because I'll defend my right.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, you did. Listen to the recording. That's what you fucking said, brother. And I'm not mad at you.
Listen to what I said. Will you let me finish?
No, you wouldn't let me, but yes, I will. Go ahead.
I said.
Say it again.
Did you or did you not say? How did you put it?
Don't say what I said. I'll tell you what I said.
Well, that gives you I'll give you what I said. You said you have a right to peace.
Say what you said. I'll tell you what I said, brother. You're trying to say what I said. Tell me what you said. That's what I want to hear, because obviously I got that wrong.
I said after you said what you said, and then you twisted it after. I said it sounds like you want to go to war to me.
Right, because I said
it's an opinion.
You said, does anybody have a right? I say, well, yeah, I have a right to peace, and I'll defend it. And you said sounds like I'm going to war.
Exactly. No, it sounds like, yeah, you're a man who likes to go to war.
So I'll lay there and let them run over me. All right, I'll just give my peace up. Here, take my peace. I'm not going to defend it. No, you can have it. I'll go back and live in your system. Well, if that's going to war in your opinion, then okay, I guess I'm going to war.
If somebody's definition of peace is different than yours, you're ready to go to war with them, right?
I have the right to be left alone, brother.
Do
that's
you?
What I'm saying.
Well, you got any rights? You got the right to be left alone?
I sure do.
Oh, okay.
I got the right to follow the golden rule and have that be enough for everybody. As far as I'm concerned, that's my law.
You got the choices, I believe, too. The rights, man. Rights is a freaking illusion, in my opinion.
Okay, then what's a choice? Yes or no? Can I do that or not? Well, yes, I can.
How you can deal with one another at the moment. And I find the best way to deal with that is to ask questions and how both can, win-win situation. So both can be at peace. But as far as having a right to peace, yeah, tell the people that just was over there in Joplin, Missouri there, where them tornadoes come through. You think they had a right to peace? No, what are they going to do now? Huh?
Their body is dead, their soul is alive, and for whatever reason that happened, man.
The point of it is, where's the right to peace? If you had a right to peace, you should have it at all times, right?
Maybe they're all there right now.
Maybe not. The point of it is, would you consider that peace if a tornado just ripped through your home?
I'm considering that my body has nothing at all to do with me. I'm an immortal living soul, created in the image of God, and, that's it. It's not the body, it's the soul. That's what I am. I'm not the fucking body. And whatever happens, the body happens, But while I'm in control of the body, I'm supposed to live my life in a certain way. I'm supposed to live in peace and protect my peace.
Well, yeah, it's possible. But, is peace, the only thing peace really is a frame of mind, if you ask me. It's what you believe to be at the moment.
I don't disagree with that at all, brother. That's all it is. I'm not going to war with my brother. I'm not charging my brother anymore. I'm at peace. Now, I'm not there yet because I'm still in their system. By their system, I'm still a citizen, and I'm getting out of that status. That's all I'm trying to say, man. There is a different status than you're in.
Well, you're saying, though, but if you think about the way you're saying, it's all negative, and it sounds like you're at war.
Because I feel I'm defending my position instead of getting a chance to put it out. You're taking each line without looking at the context, brother.
Well, I am looking at the context. Think of how you're stating things. First of all, you're stating in a negative fashion, and if the scriptures are true, every man's a liar. When is a man not a liar?
All right. What's the law? You know what the definition of law of a liar is? Proper.
Well,
Go look it up.
a liar is somebody who says something that's untrue, in my opinion.
That's your definition.
Well,
that's not the definition of law. You're trying to put the definition in the definition of law. If the Bible is the law, and the law says to say a lie is proper, then that means you're doing things proper, period.
Well,
and it doesn't matter what you think with any other definition, because that's the definition of the law that you're trying to apply it to.
See now how dishonorable that is? You're telling me your definition means...
No, I'm telling you what the definition is in the book, brother. That's in a law book. I'm not telling you my definition.
And whose book?
I'm telling you what they this is what they follow. And the definition of law in a fucking law book says a liar is doing it proper. Don't call anybody a liar unless they're doing it proper. They taught us the wrong term.
I'm trying to explain the way I think of it so we can have a meeting of the minds here, and it seems like to me as all you like to do is argue.
I want you to go look up the definition of liar in a law book and then tell me I'm wrong.
Whose law book?
I'm asking. The one that they follow, because that's the one you have to...
Never mind the one they follow. I'm telling you the one I follow. Is that good enough?
No, because if you use that, that's the same as saying...
Then how are you ever going to have a meeting of the minds with anybody if you're going by somebody else's law book?
Because people go to their court, brother, that uses this as the definition. And that's why when you say, do you understand in a courtroom, it screws you.
Well, no.
When you say yes.
When you say yes.
A liar, that screws you too. I'm just saying it's the same as saying, do you understand, and saying yes, man. It's the same fucking thing, and therefore.
No, what screws you is when you say you understand and you fail to ask the individual you're having a conversation with what he means by the words he's using. Because then you just agreed with him.
Well, you just said that go ahead and say liar without knowing what the definition was.
Well, I explained what I thought it was. I explained what I thought.
Well, they go by the presumption you know what it means.
Well, that's right. Will you shut up a minute?
I'm not going to shut up, brother, because you're the one who said these things. And go back and listen to the tape. I'm not making this up. I listen to everything.
Yeah, you do. Listen, that's why I was trying to get an understanding of the words we're using at the moment, and all you want to do is argue.
I'm telling you the words in law because that's what you have to deal with them to win.
And I'm telling you, you don't. I'm telling you how to deal with them, and not to win so everybody comes to an agreement of terms, is ask the questions of what they mean by the words they're using at the moment.
Don't call them a liar in court unless you're going to...
Who said I was calling anybody a liar? I pointed out that the scripture says every man's a liar, and then you
give
your
law
definition of liar, and then I give you my definition of liar. So what's the problem?
It's because it said every man is a liar, and if you look up the definition of liar, and I'll rebut everything I say, because I'm talking about the word lie, L-I-E.
Hey, hold on a minute. Here's another thing. Is it true that all paper work is hearsay?
All paperwork is fucking fiction. That's why they use it.
Well,
it means nothing.
You're talking about a book that's fiction. So who's the asshole there?
Well, I would say we both are, because you didn't look up the definition.
I already know I'm an asshole, so there's no problem there.
Well, listen, I know who I am, man. You know, I know what I've done in my life, and I don't have to explain it to anybody. I'd like to. I'd like to sit over a bunch of beers, smoke a few joints, and yak it up. But, you know, I can go to any level I need at any time, and, you know, I can be as peaceful as I need to be. I'd rather be peaceful, but I protect my peace.
Yeah. Right.
I guess I'm not supposed to do that.
If you want it, I guess knock yourself out. Do whatever makes you happy, buddy.
Well, that is my ultimate goal, you know. And I didn't come here to go to war, so please forgive me if that's how it feels. And
you lead me to believe you have a guilty conscience.
And I leave you to believe that I believe that if I feel I've offended somebody, I have every right to say that I'm sorry. And it's up to them to decide if they're going to accept it or not. Although I do know if you go into court and say, forgive me, it means a hell of a lot.
Well, I say, please forgive me if I offended you. That's the way I'd word it.
However, you know, I know that buys you time in the courtroom.
Yeah, I ain't there to buy time. I'm there to help settle the matter honorably, if at all possible. I'm there out of love for my brothers and sisters to help them settle a matter. I believe that they believe there's a controversy concerning me. So that's why I'll go into that courtroom and deal with it to help settle the matter honorably.
And as long as everybody leaves happy at the same time, that's really all that matters.
That's
I'm not going to wait to go to the courtroom. I'm going to go to the guy's office and say, look, you have.
Oh yeah.
And we shouldn't even be in there. I don't want to do this. I don't want to put you through this and that frickin' with the sheeple. That's not why I'm here.
I agree. If you can,
I know who I am, so let's just call it a day and go home, man. I'm not your enemy.
Well,
So I'm not waiting to a courtroom to do anything I have.
Think of it as I find making statements and stuff like that. The majority of the time, people blow you off. That's why I ask them.
Right.
What evidence? If you feel I'm an enemy, could you please tell me what evidence? What did I do to lead you to believe that?
But I can tell you, these two Treasury agents weren't offended by positive statements as long as they made some fucking sense. Because everybody goes to war and say, look, I feel this way because of this.
I'm glad it works for you. I just know through some of the experiences I've been through that, making statements like that got me locked up. So.
Well, that's because you didn't know then what you know now.
True.
We all had to take our bumps to get here, brother. We're all black and blue. That's why we're here, looking for a frickin' answer. We wouldn't be here,
Spirit of
If
rod.
we were a lawyer, we'd be in a bar, boozing it up. But
Spirit of rod spoiled a child.
Their days, their days coming.
What do you mean their days coming?
Because, this depends on if you believe anything the Scripture says, whether you believe it to be, an event that happened or a story of, how men should deal with each other. And I believe that the Bible shows two paths that you can have. You can live under civil law, the law of war, the law of statutes, commerce, whatever you call it. Or you can live under law, which is just the law of reason. As long as I don't bother my brother, he's going to leave me alone. I'm not going to go to war with my brother, so we should all be happy. And that's the two paths in the Bible that I can see. And Jesus represents the one man who stood up because he walks on the water. He's walking on the law of equity because it doesn't apply to him, but he's not at war with it. He's living in peace. And he helps his brother. And the crucifixion, all that signifies is his civil death, which is a legal term, where, that all capital letter name just goes away and you live your life with a thumbprint. And, so he ascends out of civil law and just goes to peace, brother. He did his time on earth, lived in peace around the chaos, and he ascended to law, which is the law of reason. And he's my big brother, and that's what I want to do. And we're all brothers and sisters. We all came from the earth and the spark of God, and, so he must have been my brother. Because that's what I told the Treasury agents. I said, what was their question exactly? Oh, he had asked how I describe myself. I said, well, I used to think I was a Homo sapiens until I looked up the definition of homo, and it's a servant, and I'm not a servant wise man. And he says, well, aren't you a servant of God? And I said, well, no, man, I got God's spark in me. Let me think about this. If I'm anything, I'm a child of God. And since I'm of the male gender, I guess I'm a son of God. That's what I am. He knew what I was talking about. I was saying the right things to have my name taken off the list of belligerents who is just living by what the law is, that, he's a man, he's not a person. And they haven't bothered me, but that's just part of the story. So the rest of the story is, getting out of Egypt completely, because there's supposed to be a way. Yeah. And all you do is you just have your all capital letter name erased from the rolls, brother, and you go around the world the rest of your life using a thumbprint and asking for things because you're the creditor to their system. You are the king. You're just coming back from whatever they say that made us, not be in the system. In England, they say, you're lost across the sea. It says to KVX 1666. But it says if you come back and to a magistrate and say you're a man, you can have your inheritance back. I don't know if anybody's done it, but that's what the law book says.
I think it's, I more tend to believe that name's there to use. Depends how you use it. If you're claiming you own it, there's a controversy, and if you're using it, it's, well, all taxes go to the state, because that's what happened the last time I was in court, or the last dealings with the court. They finally recognized the name as indigent, and all taxes went to the state. So.
Right. See, and that was all under statute law, which, I mean, they're doing that fucking 5,000 times a day to some poor son of a bitch, taking it for whatever reason they want. But there is a higher law that's available to you, and it's called common law.
The point of it is, it's when, for any court issue, if you're saying, yeah, that's my name, you just came before the court with a controversy.
Right. So you went to their court instead of taking your court to them in private, which is what brothers do. They took an oath. Look, they're still a man, right? They're hiding behind a mask. You're going to go to them as a man and say, look, your mask is, it's doing this to me, and it's disturbing my peace. So I'm going to give you, by my seal, you give him legal immunity to carry out the king's wishes. And whatever that paper, because it's all paper, none of this shit exists. That piece of paper disappears. That was against you. Because, yes, that name is your right of use. It is. Or it's for your use. I won't use the word right. I can get around that word. It's for you to use. It was given to you to use. You just don't have control of it yet.
The government has the control to zero the account unless there's a claim on the name. And then that's where it comes out of the mouth. You're the first witness against yourself.
In their court, you are, and I agree with that. People are always the first witness. But in your court of record, of final jurisdiction, what you are as the Trinity of mind, body, and spirit. And I can show you, where this is what the Supreme Court is saying. Well, at least it says it to me when I read it, that there is a court higher than them, that whatever they say goes, man, that is the law. It's the court of record of final jurisdiction. In a court of record, the tribunal is the one who gives the orders to the magistrate, who's only there to administer the orders to the magistrate. Well, who's the tribunal? Well, when you're a people of mind, body, and spirit, you are the tribunal. So you don't need to go to war. They're just your administrator. You have to tell them that you came back as the king. I am here. I'm sorry I was gone. I finally figured it out. I am the king. Brother, here, take care of this for me. Because it's all, I crumple up paper every day. It means nothing to me, and that's what they're going to do. King said get rid of it. He gave me his indemnity. It's gone.
So you're telling me you got an open account with the Treasury right now, and you go get whatever you want when you need it?
Well, no, I don't yet. No, brother, I don't.
I'm just curious. That's all.
I don't. But that's, if you're asking, that's what I'm going to. And I think Morris could have it today. He's already seen whoever needs to see that he's an immortal living soul. He's got the guy's bond, that business card, the guy from wherever he came from that got in the middle of the deal. If he just accepted his oath, say, look, I want out of Egypt or whatever, we could get into what words he might say, but all I'm saying is your birth certificate is only a lease, and they owe you rent on the lease, and it's being held waiting for the man to step forward and get it. That's what common law says. It's right in the frickin' law book.
Yeah, well, I'm over them law books. I'm over common law. I believe it's just the rules. Love thy neighbor as thyself, and the creation the same with all thy heart. And if you can act accordingly, I believe the left hand of God, which is I call the government or the old schoolmaster, will treat you accordingly.
Absolutely. They're the sons of Cain, But they were protected. That's why you can never charge these guys when you go there as a man.
Right.
People who charge these people are...
They're in my opinion, and they're in dishonor. They're accusing their brothers and sisters.
That's exactly what they're doing.
The thing of it is, I said if I was in court with them, I wouldn't charge them with anything. I'd ask questions, and, they'd probably fall into their own trap just like everybody does. They'd answer for the name, and then they'd answer the questions with statements admitting to felonies, and because I've had them do it, and but I didn't know it then, and I'm glad I didn't, because I don't think I would have pushed it anyway. I've had a couple of them commit felonies right before the judge, and the judge protected them, which is good, you know. But they know me now in the neighborhood, and nobody messes with me, and you know, I could have sued them. Last case, all charges went to the prosecuting attorney. I hired back in the day. I hired a court stenographer and everything. I mean, I could have charged them. Yeah, right there in writing, all charges went to the court stenographer. But hey, would that be true? How can I charge anybody when I own nothing?
Right. I sat here without electricity for 10 days because I had done the commerce things, you know, trying to get them to admit that that freaking coupon was actually my stuff, you know. And listen, just, you know, I'm claiming it because you're claiming it as abandoned. Well, I don't abandon it. There's 3 years worth here. Why don't you pay the bill with that? Send me a check for the rest. You know, that was the path I went down.
Yeah.
And to the point where, you know, they wanted a money order, or they wanted legal tender. I wrote them a money order for $2,000. Said, here, pay the $450 bill. Send me a check for the rest. You know, I could use some money too. You're just going to monetize it anyways. Does it really matter? You know, they sent that to a federal prosecutor, and, you know, and that isn't why I saw the treasury agents. The federal prosecutor never contacted me because I said, hey, brother, if you believe that you have any jurisdiction over the maxims of law, then I need an affidavit with your, you know, under penalty of perjury.
That's beautiful. Now that I can understand working. That was a question, see?
Well, sure. That was strictly commerce, which is all questions. I don't disagree. I'm just saying there's a higher form of law where you just give the orders based on reason, you know?
I don't know if I'm up to that yet, the way I, you know, of giving orders.
Right.
I have a hard time taking them myself. People give them.
But see, you shouldn't, because you're a king, brother.
Well,
but they took an oath to be your vassal under common law. It's not my fault they took the oath. They took it. You know, it's there for me to use. I just have to claim it. That you took an oath to be the vassal to administer the king's work. Well, you know, this is
it's a thought. If you started out like, did you take an oath to protect the people?
Well, brother, all you have to do is accept the oath. I don't need to see it. I just accept it. I say, I accept your oath. You know, that's what I'll do now when I go to do that. You know, but this is my thing is that by common law they took the oath, and you just have to accept it, and they're bound to it. But until you say those words, it's all paper and fiction. It doesn't fucking matter. But once you say these things, you've taken it into the real, and the real man, as a magistrate, under common law, is merely the administrator of the king's wishes. What do you want done?
Well, it's right, but the point of it is, would it make sense to ask that so-called officer or whatever if he has an oath to do it in the first place? And then say, okay, I accept your offer.
See,
now where do you want to go? See?
Well, however you get to that point, you know, I'm not saying that there's any one way, but
right.
the thing is, under common law, those offices came from you as part of your lease to the. See, we leased them the fiction.
Yeah, well, you know, it's. You know, I kind of understand where you're going. I studied a lot of that stuff at one time. The statutes, the common law, and I found out statutes.
There are no statutes in common law. The base definition.
Did
of
I
common
say
law,
statutes?
You did.
Were in common law. I said I studied common law and the statutes. I didn't say they were both one and the same.
Okay.
I don't believe so anyway.
Well, they are not.
And the way I look at the situation now, there's just the rules to go by. And that's to love one another and stay in honor with one another. And if you do that, there's no need for common law or the statutes.
Well, but brother, that is what common law is, because it's not written. It's just a law of reason. You know, when something happens, you know, somebody has to make a decision. That's all it is. You know, what's the right decision based on the facts or the evidence?
Because I know I've been in positions and I didn't even realize it. I had one judge, man, tell me, what would you have me do? And I didn't know what I knew today, because I would have just tell him discharge the debt on this name, and we can all go on our merry way.
Brother, I had a guy drive 2 hours because of these papers I wrote. He said, I got to come talk to you. And, you know, one of the stories he told me is they got in a position where it was his friend in court, but the judge was saying, well, what are you asking this court to do?
Yep.
You know, discharge, brother.
First-hand testimony.
Right. So the second time she gave him choice 1, 2, and 3, and all of them took him back in their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
You know, he lost it and he took 3 or whatever it was. You know, he didn't say number 4, just discharge it.
Tell me
know.
what tell.
Right.
I did. I told him I want him to answer my papers, and I didn't realize what paperwork meant today. I mean,
Right.
That's,
That's why you have to speak it to them, man. You just tell them what you want, and
Yeah.
and they will ask, and it will be given. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, an easy way, the way to get them to do that is accept their oath.
The thing of it is, it's their job to make sure we know what we're doing.
That they're testing you.
Yeah, and I blew it, and that's why
Right.
I can't. I can't.
Well, you blew it.
I can't.
Brother,
I know I blew it. I'm just saying that's why I'm having a hard time to have
No,
any animosity towards these judges or
You-
lawyers.
You did not blow it. You got the lesson
Yeah.
the Creator wanted you to have, and because listen, things that you were saying are what led me to do what I did with these Treasury agents. I'm going. I know what I did. I don't know why they're there. I told them I wanted there because I wanted to investigate the IRS because I claimed by mistake of fact that I had put the wrong information on the forms. I wanted the IRS to give me an audit for all the years of my tax man.
Yeah. Okay.
Because by 1099s and W-2s are all class 5 tax. I put it on the wrong line. I just want to put it on the right line to get my refund.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't respond, so I wrote the Inspector General of the Treasury.
Yeah.
And an agent called me. Said, well, yeah, I'm glad you called. I asked for you to call me. But he didn't come just with that, brother. He had all the other stuff I'd done in a manila envelope,
Yeah.
So,
I'm thinking, that might be the one just to call. I'm thinking one of these days get off this lazy ass and go talk to one of the agents. Like I say, I'm pretty comfortable at the moment.
Yeah.
I need to go.
You can talk to them because, as long as you come in peace, they're your friend. You're not a person, you're a people.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Now, I didn't get the remedy I wanted, but I did learn that, even though all that paper was in there, I know people, I've been told there's people in jail for not having a driver's license,
Yeah.
I had however many hundreds of thousands of dollars of paper I wrote sitting there, and I came home.
Yeah.
So there must be something to it, or they let a felon go. What do they do?
Yeah, somebody saw something. Sometimes they don't, sometimes all that paperwork you do doesn't do a damn thing. Sometimes it does. Or maybe it's something you said to somebody along the way, too.
Well, right, but that's what it is. The reason I didn't go to jail is I went there and talked to them in peace and explained my side. I was asking questions, but I was making statements.
Right.
I was like, well,
Right.
Brother, I'll tell you what you want to hear because I know you have no jurisdiction.
I just ask the questions. They usually come to the conclusion on their own.
There's many ways to the goal line.
Right. Oh, yeah. It works here and there. I've seen people say the statements and questions, and you can always come back with, well, I believe there's a mistake. Start over.
Yeah. But, like Boris, he has, from what I can see by common law, he has at least one of the 2 witnesses you need, to live outside of their jurisdiction completely, where your all capital letter name doesn't show up anywhere anymore. There are no charges because everything is just given to you because, you passed the test. You went in peace.
Right.
You need to have an ecclesiastic and a civil witness. You need to have 2 witnesses. See, Pilate was the civil, and the preachers were the religious, or whatever you want to call that. Because we know religion is just for control. It has nothing to do with spirituality. That's why they preach the Bible. They want to control the Bible.
Well, in my opinion, actually, Jesus was the first witness, and the rest were the second, or whatever it took.
Well, right. There you go.
But
he knew that he was a man of peace. They witnessed it, and so he has to leave civil law because he's going to rile the sheeple if he stays here. He was taking the sheeple away from the priest. Where's our coins, man? Where's our nickels? They're not in the till anymore. These people are all at the fields listening to some yacker, yak, yak, yak.
Well,
he's got to go.
Was he, or the thing of it is, the reason why he went, because he went mute, I believe. But the thing of it was, when he was before Pontius Pilate, and it come down to the name issue, the way I look at it, he says, "Are you King of the Jews?" And he answered, "You say that I am." I think he answered one place in there, he said he answered with a question. "Did you think of it on your own, or did somebody tell you that?" And Pontius Pilate found no fault with him. Right. But the second time, or third time, I forget, when he stood mute, that's when his tacit response, the judge has to go into preponderance of the evidence, and so he was guilty, and they crucified him. See? That's the way I saw it anyway. That's where I started to realize it. What's that?
Right. That could be. See, I wasn't thinking of the next time he went and stood mute. I was going on, all I pulled out of it is Pilate, as the civil authority, could find no faults in this man. He has broken no law.
Exactly. He didn't claim ownership of the name.
Right. Right. But, well, because, when they say law, they're talking common law. By reason, he hasn't done anything wrong.
Law is contract. Law, really, all the courts are for is for controversies.
Right.
And when he didn't give any evidence of a controversy concerning him, there was no reason for it to be before the court.
But so, not to go back to common law, but I have to. The definition of common law, one of them is, it's the basic law of contracts. So all these people in commercial, they're fighting in the wrong court. They're in a statute court where the magistrate's only, this is the definition of magistrate, his only obligation is move the case ahead in a manner of his own judgment.
Right.
Doesn't matter what your paperwork is.
Preponderance of the evidence.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the statutes. It doesn't matter. It's just by his judgment.
Exactly.
In the statute.
And all that judge needs is when you go in there to be the witness against yourself, when you claim ownership, when you brought a controversy before the court.
Right.
Go. You gave him.
And when you go from a defendant to a witness, you go from a person to a people just for a long enough time to swear to God to whatever the guy says, and then you step back and boom, you were your own worst evidence. You hung yourself.
Yeah. Because I go in there, if I ever have to go in there again, I'm in there as a witness to help settle the matter honorably. That's all.
Right.
And look at the protections on a witness. A bailiff comes touch you. Says, "Are you sure you want to be treating a witness in this manner?"
Right.
And just ask him. That's all.
Right. Well, and another way to get the same thing is you say, well, for the record, I take the oath of innocence before my Creator. You'll walk out too, because they're not going to go. You put it on the record. You went to law, common law, before your Creator and said you were innocent. Are they going to rebut that? No. You will walk out that door immediately. They can't wait to get you out.
Yeah,
you just need to put it on the record that you're innocent. People try to do it in equity. Once you say for the record, it's a court of record under common law, and if you say you're innocent, who's the witness now that's going to say you're not? Because he isn't in this courtroom. I just say that you don't need to wait to the courtroom. You just go to the guy in his private chambers and say, look, I know who I am. Do we need to do this in front of the sheeple? I'm not here to rile them up, brother.
Well, that's what I do now before, now I haven't had to do anything in a while, but I try to talk to the prosecuting attorney or whoever before it goes to court. Sure you want to go into court? I mean, I'd be glad to go in there and be a witness for you.
Right. And tell them the same thing. I'm an immortal soul, created in the image of God, and unless you're going to rebut that, then, you're going to have a problem, brother, because you're saying I'm not, then it's not my problem anymore. It's somebody else's and you.
I'd say, yeah.
I'll leave you, have a good day.
I say I believe I'm peaceful inhabitant, or that's the way I look at it at the moment. But, yeah, my immortal soul. Probably
right, that's just the next level higher. That's all I'm saying is, okay, I know you're a peaceful inhabitant, but what else could you be?
I say I am. What evidence do you have otherwise, You prepared to tell me what I believe?
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
Well, but in their setting in the courtroom, when you claim to be an immortal living soul, created in the image of the Creator, of God, whatever you want to use, for them to say you're not is an act of heresy, and that's been in the law books since 1311. And, that's when the Jesuits get involved, because somebody in their court has broken the rules.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of people tend to disagree with me, but I believe there's somebody in there watching every one of these little courtrooms.
That's why I picked up on that in a hurry, and that's because you and Boris were talking about it. I said, man, look what happened. The guy made a little mistake. He made a mistake. He didn't crucify anybody,
Yeah.
or whatever happened, but now somebody, why would somebody from the medical examiner's office or whatever it was, forensic pathology, or, I don't remember what you guys called it, but, it had nothing to do with court.
Yeah.
But he's sitting down there mediating this case. It's like, that doesn't, there's a lesson to be learned here. Why is this guy here? I'm glad he's here, but why is he here?
Yeah.
Now, was he a Jesuit? I don't know. Because they're all over, man. They don't wear robes. That's their job, is to hide, to make sure the public does it right. You can't break the rules that you took an oath to.
Oh, yeah, I try to get that across to people. These judges and lawyers, a lot of they ain't going to do anything that's going to wind them up in the bottom of the river with cement boots, because they've been known to disappear.
Absolutely. So have kings and popes and presidents and so forth, because, to a system and decided that some of the rules didn't apply to them, and that isn't how the rules are set up, and the Jesuits are the referee. So if you claim to be an immortal soul, because this is in the canons of law, this goes back ecclesiastical to the 1300s when they set up the system we have. They had to put the truth down first, and it says it in 1311. To claim someone who says they're an immortal living soul created in the image of God is heresy. And go look at the oath of a Jesuit. They're not after me and you, brother. They're after the people in the public that don't let people who know who they are live the life they want. That's my opinion. But once you go there, you better stay at peace, because now you're just another nation, right? And they just take out the aggressors of those nations that break the rules of that nation.
Stay in honor.
And the only rule of, that is really the only rule of the law of nations is to strive for your own perfection and to help other peaceful nations strive for theirs. And that's one of these authoritative books on law. If you take that into a courtroom, it says authoritative book on law. One of these brought into a courtroom, point to the passage that you're using as your case, and that is the law. And, the law of nations is one of them. And by definition of that, you're a sovereign state as long as you stay peaceful. You're okay. Only the belligerents get taken out. But, it doesn't mean you don't have things coming to you. You have to go ask for them. You don't ask with a question, you ask. So when I say give an order, I'm just asking. First you got to establish your status as the landlord who's returned from wherever they say you went because you were unconscious or you were a minor. I mean, anybody who's in a religion is considered a minor because they have a father in that religion. So you're a minor and you're stuck in the frickin' system because you don't understand that religion has nothing to do with, living. Because all religion is those people are different. They must be wrong.
Well, yeah. We have not because we ask amiss.
I didn't get that. We have not?
Yeah, we have not because we ask amiss.
What's ask amiss, my friend?
Ask amiss.
Ask amiss.
That's the wrong question.
Okay. Well, thanks, because I'd have to look that up later. I was going to get ready to write it down. What does ask amiss mean? Ask the wrong question, right? See, I talked to a guy who he's been taken off the baptismal rolls. They sent a live birth record to, like 5 or 6 of them sent a live birth record to the Pope. He was the only one who took it to a Jesuit or to somebody and stood before him and said, brother, I sent this. And the guy put his stamp and name on it, put it in an envelope, and wrote his name on the front. And it was just his first and second name. He said, where's the last name? And the Jesuit says, that is your name. He told him, that's your name, man. The last name has nothing to do with you. That is your name. Everything else is fiction. Because you're not from the family of, your ancestors, unless you understand that everybody's a brother or sister, so your only ancestor is the creator. Well, what's his last name? That is your last name, whatever the creator is. And if you look in a Bible, I was told this, I didn't know this, Jesus is always in capital letters. It's the fiction. But it's followed by Christ. That's the family name. As by my interpretation of, because I've never studied the Bible. I only started studying law, a year ago, because I'd much rather be doing alternative energy things, but, the pressure got too big. I said, I got to get this monkey off my back.
Yeah, I think it means a lot if you can understand. Well, mainly I just think if you claim to own anything, I think there's a controversy. But you want to go and do about anything, as long as it's not bringing harm to anybody, I think you're free to do it.
Right. But if we could just agree that in law, not statute law, but in law, and I'm going to call it common law because that's what they call it, because they say it's the law, unwritten law of reason. To own something only means you have, here's that word. Don't get on me now. Right of use.
Yeah. The thing of it is, ownership means, like, you can be claimed to be. See, I got to wear either be in the world or of the world, and I look at it like we're in this world as a spirit in the material. Whereas if we claim ownership of it, be of the world, then it owns us. We become the person. See?
Okay. Well, I can get by the word owner if we can just agree that, you have the use of certain things because you're here, and they may be being held back from you. If you just said the right things and acted the right way, they'd give them to you.
Yeah, if nobody else is using it, what's the problem? Nobody was using it when I started using it. What's the issue here?
Well, that looks like the way the system is set up. When you claim your status peacefully, you can ask for things, and you can take that empty house because everything else is fiction. It's all fiction.
Exactly. It's there to use.
Yes.
But if you claim ownership, then you get the tax. See, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's
under statute law, I will agree that is the definition of what it is. And I know you have a problem with the word right, and I don't want to say right. I just said the Creator gave you things you can have.
Have the use, right? Exactly.
Right. But the only thing that you have exclusive right of, or whatever, is your body. When you leave whatever that is sitting there, anybody else can use it. It's yours, man. It's public property. There are no lines drawn in the sand where somebody can say, I own this. If it's available and somebody else isn't using it, and peacefully you inhabit it or whatever you do,
right?
That's the way it should be.
Because if you look at the things, how many people claim to be residents or occupants or tenants? See?
Well, way too many, and those are all commercial terms.
Well,
that's what they are.
That's what they believe. The court's not there to argue with what they believe. It's there to say, okay, you just witnessed, you brought a controversy before the court. Now here we are. This is how we're going to settle it.
And they always tell you, your ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yeah, it works both ways too.
Yes.
I've seen it.
So when you know what the law is, they'll do it, man.
Yep.
Just go to them in peace. Say, look, I'm an immortal living soul, created in the image of God, and unless you're going to rebut that, my friend, I just want this paper to go away. I'm not your enemy. I'm going to give you legal. You will have no legal liability because the king has told you to do this. Because you know how it normally is. If a case doesn't get settled in the public, someone's still paying the bill. Even if you get out of it, someone's got to eat that bill, man. They don't get rid of them.
Well, I believe they zero the account once there's no controversy claiming ownership. The only reason I see for money, well, two reasons. One, so peaceful inhabitants can do business in a sense with people who believe they own things, and the other reason is for people who can believe they have claim on their brothers. I mean, that's
right.
where the love of money is the root of all evil, I believe, comes in.
Well, exactly. And that, listen, I put this on a tape that an audio deal with some guys like, I'm not charging a brother again. I'm not taking their debt. That's not how I'm supposed to live. I'm supposed to have access to things that I can use my creative potential on that may help somebody else because I can, because I'm good at some things, But the system of lack we live in has taken that away from me.
Well, has it, or could it be we're asking amiss?
Well, we're getting what we deserve, I guess. I'm just trying to get out of it. So this isn't what I asked for. I'm going to ask for something different if there's a choice. If there's more than one choice, I'm going to ask for something different.
Well, could it be by our tacit response we're getting exactly what we want?
Well, there's a lot of reasons we get what we want, or we get what we get.
Yeah.
Some are lessons, and I've had my lessons. You've had yours. Everybody's had theirs. And I'm just, I'm intrigued to hear how people ended up in a court, what happened in a court, because it's not always the same. I mean, what's this route? You know, he accepted the guy's oath on one of his audios. He said the guy turned into a referee just by saying he accepted his oath. He wasn't belligerent anymore. He said, what do you say to that, prosecutor? And the guy'd say something, and Winston would. They went to common law just by saying, you know, I accept your oath. You know, now Winston had changed the form of the court.
Yeah.
And the judge was no longer judging. He was only there as a witness, you know, between the plaintiff. You know, who's going to win? The guy who says he has a case or the guy who says he doesn't? But he wasn't going to judge anymore just by saying, I accept your oath. You know, that doesn't just happen. Yeah, and you know that because most of these things are just, you know, they're hamburger, man. It's just making sausage. The same sheep coming in saying the same thing. Bring down the gavel, you know. Next.
Yeah.
You know, well, you accept my oath. Okay. I got something I get to do today, you know, besides sit in this frickin' chair and watch the sheep will go to slaughter because they don't know the difference and they come here at war, you know, so.
Yeah, I could see it working. You say, I accept the oath. Yeah, you have an oath of office? He says, yeah, but I wouldn't even ask a judge that anymore, would I know? But I could see it working.
Oh, I'm not asking it. I'm just accepting it. I know you have. Well, you wouldn't be filling that office because those offices came for me because I'm the landlord.
Wow.
And that's what you got on the lease that we call the birth certificate, and they know that. The guy at the desk doesn't know anything about this, but, you know, that guy sitting in a robe, he does. And he's waiting for us to say it. And they help people all the time, like the guy that said, you know, well, what do you want this court to do? Because what he did is he said, he said, Your Honor, I don't understand. I don't have any representation because none of them will sign my contract. He was, you know, your unalienable right to contract. Well, no one will sign my contract. I have no representation, so I don't understand. That was his defense, you know. I mean, he covered enough bases. Well, you know, so what else do you know? Well, the first offer was, you know, well, what do you want this court to do? And he said nothing. The next one was, you know, well, what do you want this court to do? Do you want us A, B, or C, you know? 3 or 4 times the guy, you know, he was so flustered, he picked C. He's sitting in fucking jail. He should have said D, you know, dismiss the case.
Yeah.
And the judge would have. It had been done, you know. Ask, brother, I'm here to do your bidding.
I know. I've been through it.
If I just asked, they would have gave it to me. And, you know, I just see that more and more with the more stories I hear. And that's what I love about talkshoe is you can hear people because the written word is dead. I need to hear somebody tell me what happened, you know.
Yeah.
In their own words instead of, you know, because everybody takes things wrong. And it's just fiction, you know. Anything in writing is dead. Doesn't exist. You know, the truth comes from your own mouth. So, well, listen, I kind of feel we got off on the wrong foot, but I'd love to talk to you again sometime, my friend. I don't want to take all your night. I don't know what you were doing, but you were nice enough to answer. So,
this is what I do here and there. Talk to people. Try to help. Feel like I got some use in this world.
Yeah.
And it's all good. I get going sometimes, but it's hard to offend me. It may sound like it, but I do that to see where a lot of times I'm just feeling people out, see where they go.
Well, did I pass the test, brother?
Oh,
or, you know,
well, if there's a test to pass, we're still talking, I guess so.
Well, good.
Usually when they hang up on me, I guess that's when I could call that a failure.
There you go. And they're doing the same thing. No, they're just testing you, man. It's a test. Just, you know,
well, that's what I tell people.
Saying, brother. Just listen to them.
Yeah. I try to tell people, man, if they can't deal with me on a phone call and got to hang up, how do you think they're going to do with a judge?
Yeah. You walk in a courtroom where your power drains from you just because of the karma and say what you're going to say. It's, you know, it's a little bit different.
There you go. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good.
Well, good. Good.
I very seldom hang up on anybody. I think I blocked somebody from a call one night because he was getting real obnoxious, but I let him back in. You know, I was hoping he'd calm down a little bit. But other than that,
I heard that call, as a matter of fact, when you said that, you know, and
it's open season, buddy. Let's shoot. Let's have a party. You know, see where it goes.
Bring the beer, a little herb, and let's have a party.
There you
We
go.
don't need to live under their frickin' system. We can all be free and do what we want as long as we go to peace. Is that so hard to understand? Where are you people? Wake up.
Oh, there's waking up. There's some that just gotta,
I know. They're
fight.
all over the place.
People just love to fight,
Yeah. They go to war. That's civil law. You live under civil law. That's what you get.
That's why the Civil War has yet to end. It's still
Yes.
going on, man.
When you go to peace and live under just law, they'll leave you alone because you are a god compared to them because they're all persons and you're a people, a trinity.
Yeah.
And that's why they honor you. And that's why the judge is not your enemy.
Exactly.
Just go there and accept his oath. Say, hey, I know the gig, brother. I mean, whatever your words are, just make this go away and I'll leave.
Yeah,
I'll leave you in peace.
I had people calling me a communist and a judge lover, and I said, so I love him just as much as I love you. What's the problem?
Yeah. He is your remedy in common law because he's just an administrator. He does the king's work. So let it be written, so let it be done. You give him a vote, he writes it, and you give him legal so he can't be held legally for what he has to make happen in the public because those wheels got to spin.
What's the only true remedy on which relief can be granted?
Forgiveness.
Right, forgiveness. Once you
I
got
learned that from you, and I heard that. Said, "Whoa, that made me tingle." I said, "Oh, that is."
Who's gonna argue with it? A judge. What more can I ask for if I offended anyone? Could they please forgive me?
Right.
And stay in honor. I want the best for everybody here. What more can I do?
And there's nothing wrong with that except say, you know what, I am a people, and just make this go away. I'll do it in your chambers. I don't need to do it in the courtroom.
Yeah.
I know the gig. Why am I?
Well, yeah, that's why I try to say, the simpler people say it if they have to be before the judge of the public. It's just short, concise sentences, a couple questions like, I'm here for that matter. I believe I'd still say that. I believe there's a mistake, and I'd like to help settle this matter honorably. Anything I can do to help. And I'd shut up.
Right.
And then just stay on point with everything.
Yeah. And that's fine in the courtroom, but I just think you can go to the guy's private chambers where men can talk to each other.
I say that's best.
Right. That's what'll make it stop happening ever again is the first time you do that because you walked in the valley of shadow of death and feared no evil and said, look it, brother, I know the gig.
I've had them prosecutors, though, and I think she wished she did, but I had one assistant prosecutor. I said, I think we got to talk about this in private. And she just, well... And I'll tell you, she was the one that got up there, and I said, I'm here for that matter. I believe there's a mistake, and I like to settle this matter honorably. And I said, this shouldn't even be in court, I said. And she got up there and said, well, it already is. She didn't rebut one thing I said.
Right.
And she just
she brought the charge in, man. She's going to get stuck with it. You walk out of that courtroom without claiming ownership.
She just went into dishonor, though.
I know.
Just admitted to bringing a frivolous charge before the court. Sedition, bringing a charge on government-controlled property.
Right.
Sedition. Right. And that's when all the charges went to the prosecuting attorney. I didn't even ask. They just did it.
But, you did it right. You went in peace first and look at, why are you bringing a charge against your brother, But she said, well, it's in the court. Well, okay, then I came in peace, and now I'm going to protect my peace, and that's what you did. What happened to her because of that isn't your fault. You did the right thing.
Right.
You went in peace.
She was a witness against herself. That's why I tell people all the time, I say, I wouldn't go around accusing anybody. They do fine on their own.
Exactly. And if you don't know any better, when they say, time to take an oath, just say, on the record, I swear to innocence before the Creator. And you walk out. They're not going to charge you with anything.
Well, they want to know what I'd be asking them, I believe. if they says, I want you to tell the whole truth, blah, 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 so help you God, I'd be asking them, I says, the whole truth. Well, whose truth do you want, my truth or your truth? Or what you believe at the moment, or what I believe, or what these people believe? I mean, how can I help you?
Well, that's the definition of truth. It depends on the venue, and they change venues all the time. It's never the same thing.
If you let
unless you claim the one you want it to be, and then that is what it is. They won't change it. You have to claim it with the spoken word to have it, because paper's dead, and men don't use paper because their word is their bond. You have to frickin' speak it to them.
They'll know you by your words, by your fruits, by the way you talk and act towards them.
Absolutely. And they'll know you really know it when you don't wait to the courtroom and go to him in the back room in the private and have a conversation, because he's not your enemy, And I just have to think if you do that once, then a lot of the other shit's just going to go, because that will get in a record someplace. I mean, in the background, everyone will know, because that piece of paper that has been brought in is just a corporation, and they'll know don't sue this corporation.
Well, they can zero the account. There's no claim on it, the way I see it.
Right, right. You for that account, you'll be Teflon because you passed the test of walking in the shadow of death, fear no evil, and going in and seeing whoever it is in a courtroom, in his back room, and telling them who you are.
Yeah.
And you will be protected, and the guardian angels will walk you out. And, your life will get a lot easier after that. It may not help you with a cop on the street, but he isn't your problem either.
I got stopped by a cop in the next town, a different county, and he knew who I was. That was weird. That's another story.
Right. I mean, people know who people are, brother. They knew who you were. I was like, yeah, you don't want to fuck with this guy. You don't need the headache. Go find another sheep, and off they go.
Well, go find somebody in dishonor.
Right.
That's their job.
And I believe, although I haven't been stopped and had anybody ask me for any ID, but if they did that with mine because of what happened with the Treasury,
Oh, they'll run it. That name's there for us to use. There'll be a little something there, do not detain or something.
Right. I've already got my pass. I just haven't had to use it, because I haven't gotten stopped. But if I did, I know they're not going to bother me. Just, go read the fucking bulletin, Just go read what it says, because he's going to say these magic words, and you're going to let him go anyway. So let him on his way.
If you like your employment.
Yeah. Right. I'm not going to charge you, brother. But if you don't do these things to protect yourself, I'm going to destroy that public image if I have to.
Well, it's not so much destroy the public image. The thing of it is, he'll do it on his own. It's the questions you ask.
Right.
If it gets before the public.
Right. And
I had a codes enforcement officer I think he got so pale. I asked him, I didn't accuse him of it, but he admitted to it, of an armed trespass. You still there?
I'm here. Yeah. Yep, I lost you there for a bit.
Yeah.
Hey, before you tell me the story, can I go grab a beer? Because they're short, and I need another one.
Go for it. Yeah.
All right. Give me just a minute. Thanks, buddy. Bye. Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's like the codes enforcement officer come over here with a police officer to serve a summons. And when we was in the courtroom, I started asking him questions. Like, well, why did you come over there and make an armed trespass? He says, armed trespass? I didn't make an armed trespass. He says, well, you had a police officer with you, did you? He says, yeah. I said, did he have a gun? Yeah. Well, is that an armed trespass? And he went silent.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And he just looked at the judge like, what the fuck just happened here?
Right. I'm not saying you can't beat them in their court.
Well, it's not to beat them. It's just if they really want to be assholes about it, well, maybe they need the spanking. Who knows?
Right. Right. And I don't mean a beating. I mean.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
We had to go through it. What makes them any different?
Right. If you really want to go down here after what I've told you, and it's not my problem, brother. You're going to get whatever you get. That's what happens to me in your world. That's what happens. Nobody's above the law.
Exactly.
You break the law, well, guess what? It's your turn, brother. It isn't very much fun, is it? So leave me alone next time you see me.
I haven't seen a codes enforcement officer in over 3 years now. Still got a bunch of cars out in the corner there.
Yeah, you need to add something new, brother. Something they haven't seen before. Go out and paint them all orange.
They come and go, and and they're cool.
Go paint one orange.
We get along fine.
Right.
Oh, they'd like it down here, orange. That's Tennessee's Vols territory.
Oh. I'm in Michigan. I don't know where you're at. I just know you're out there somewhere.
It's called Tennessee, I guess.
Is it? Okay.
We're by Knoxville.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
But yeah, it's and you get more and more at peace. This stuff. I used to worry about them kicking in the door. Not anymore, man. In fact, the so-called wife got her purse stolen out of the truck of the car, so she called the police one time, and the two cops knew me. I kind of felt for them because one of them was one of the helping arrest an officer last time, and boy, you want to see him. He kind of just was uncomfortable. Had that hat in his hand look, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, as he should be. He knows. See, he knew who the king was, brother. He came as a servant, as he should.
Right, and I loved him though. I tried to make light of it and joke with him, and hey, I said, "You guys."
I'll give him a hug. Look at I'm glad you're out there protecting me, but I'm not your problem, man. I live at peace. You know that.
I wanted to reinforce it, man. Buddies want something to drink,
Right.
Thanks for coming over, and love you guys, man.
But whatever lesson he needed, at least about you, he had gotten from whatever happened. I mean,
I got one too.
Gives you what you need every day.
It was my fault. I got arrested that day. I know what I did. And I was surrounded by police, and they weren't touching me until I screwed it up. I gave them what they needed.
But you learned a lot. Hey, I did good to hear, and then you knew where you messed up.
Yeah.
Just beg forgiveness. I'll let you out. It's no big deal. Forgive me.
Yeah, it all worked out.
That's the claim that they will. That is the claim that they will honor. I beg forgiveness. And that goes here. Here's an interesting thing. This guy that drove up here, he had another friend who was in court, and he was trying to do something, in which I commend anybody who's trying anything. At least they're trying.
Right. Yeah.
But he got himself a little bit messed up, and he said, "God damn it." And the fucking gavel came down immediately. Boom! Contempt of court. Get him out of here. Put him in a cell.
Yeah.
They didn't wait. So he thought about it, and the next day, him and this guy I was talking to, and this guy got together. They said, well, just go ask him for forgiveness. And so he sent a letter to a judge. They let him out, man. It was that easy. Just beg forgiveness,
Yeah,
it doesn't take a lot of words. Just, I'm sorry.
I've recommended that to people and stuff, and some do it, some don't.
Right, well, I didn't witness this, my friend. I just heard a story, but apparently, it's worth trying. If everything else has failed and you're sitting in the cell, well, what are you going to do next? Well, here's one to try. Pull this arrow out.
Right.
I beg forgiveness.
If I offended you, Judge or Your Honor, please forgive me. And what can I do to help settle this matter honorably?
But you better do it in peace.
Yeah. What more can I say?
Right. And it is that easy. Everybody thinks of them as their enemy. They're not, man. If you do it right, they'll do whatever you need done.
Think about it. I hear so many people on these calls, talk shoes and stuff. They don't trust the judges. They don't trust the lawyers. Well, how do you feel when people don't trust you?
Right,
and they can sense it. You walk in there with distrust to them. I went the last time I went to court. I knew I was doing something wrong because of the time before, and I said, I'm not doing that paperwork anymore. I stopped doing it. I did the one piece of paper on that last case. I said, I'm going in there, and I'm going to love these guys and do my best to stay in honor and see where it gets me. Yeah. And they took care of it.
Yes.
It was beautiful. I mean, and I said, wow, duh. And I've been talking about it ever since,
Right,
yeah.
Right.
And,
Well, in this conversation with these two treasury agents, it's an hour and a half long. We're sitting at a cafe having coffee. And, and I said all the things I said for an hour and a half. I said a lot of things, and they weren't all questions, but there were many questions, my brother. I analyze everything because I listen to what people say,
That's,
and he was trying a lot of things. Like he said, well, there's a lot of people in jail for doing this, Bob. I said, there's no people in jail, John. They're persons. If they knew there were people, they wouldn't be there. You can't arrest me. I'm not a commodity,
The way I look at persons is they claimed ownership of the name, and they meddled, and they become the defender of the name, and then they accept the contract, and they get to become the trustee, and they get a room and board and to go with the job,
Yeah.
3 hots and a cot.
Right. And that is the way it works in the fiction, but you don't have to live there if you don't want to. You can
Exactly.
say, this doesn't apply to me, I'm a man. I'm going to go to the guy's office and tell him this,
Right.
because I do trust him, and I don't need to fucking hide it from anybody. I'm going to go into his office,
I mean, since when is it a crime for using a name?
Yes. Yeah, hey, one of your citizens brought this claim against my sovereign nation, one of my persons, and I want you to make it go away. How you do that's up to you, brother. Here's your indemnity with my thumbprint. Just make it go away. And he will. It will be gone. And no one will get harmed. It'll just disappear. That would be one of those that just disappears. And
Yeah,
nobody pays
yeah.
the cards.
You're not going to find records on any of this stuff.
No, right. This is the stuff where there is no record.
It's zero.
Exactly.
The account's zeroed. See, a lot of people...
Is zeroed. By you saying so.
The thing of it is, a lot of people believe a dismissal is a win. No,
it isn't.
To
it
me,
doesn't mean nothing.
It's an escrow.
Right. The account was never closed, man.
Exactly.
You got to close the account. You have to zero the bank. Zero the books on this and get it out of the public record, brother. However you need to do that. Don't charge my person. It's mine, and I claim it. I'm giving it my sovereign immunity as a divine immortal soul. In the eye God. You can't rebut it.
I don't know if I'd word it quite that way. I kind of got a problem with it. I'm just using it. I think I'll stick to that. But, and once you point out you was just using it, I mean, there's no controversy any longer.
Right.
But you're saying it's mine. I think that might get you in trouble. It depends on the judge. Right. That's just an opinion. And the other way, doing it the other way, too, could get you in trouble with a judge because it's real simple. If the judge starts saying you and this and that, and you don't ask questions on his definition of you and this and that, or like take that toothpick out of your mouth, and you do,
yes.
And right there you gave him jurisdiction again. See,
because that's all in statute, and that's the idea of taking his oath and taking it to common law, where you're the king, and he is really just your administrator to give you advice. That's what administrators do.
In a sense, but if you're going in there as a witness, and just to point out that, you was led to believe that somebody believed you claimed ownership of something, and what evidence they have of that, now,
right.
That's kind of the way I look at it.
Right, but if you could look at it this way for a second, you could go in there as the king. It doesn't mean you're a mean king. You're just the king. You're going to see an administrator. Look, this is going on. Make it go away, brother. Right.
Well, that's what, I know you're saying go in there as king, or go in there and claim to be king, but I go in there as king, asking. See?
Right. Right. But I've heard that, and I don't disagree with that. But as a king makes decisions and gives orders.
Well, if you ask me what I would like him to do, and we're coming down to a meeting of the minds or something, or I'd ask him if there's a problem, I have a suggestion here. Would you like to hear it? You see, and then give him an order in that sense where you can have a meeting of the minds. Yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. Right. You see,
now
that could be one of my biggest problems. Why, sure, I got it discharged. Well, all charges went to the prosecutor. I'm taking that as a discharge. Anyway, but the point of it is, yeah, I have not because I asked him this. I agree.
Well, let's use this word because this is the word that the guy with the 1215.org site says. You just wish it, and that's what kings do. I wish that this would go away.
Now that I have to ponder on that. That sounds like a good one. I
just wish that this would go away, and that I would be left in peace.
I wish you could zero the account, or I wish you could discharge this, Your Honor. Yeah, that makes sense. Now I wish.
Yeah, and that's the word they use in common law. I mean, everything's by the king's will. They call it his will or his wish or whatever. I mean, they got all sorts of words, but basically, yeah, you're right. You don't give orders like I'm ordering you. You say, it's because you're a king, man. They're going to do it. You just wish it to be done. I wish this to be gone to whatever it is. It'll go away.
Unless you,
and then in the public, you're going to get this big check mark by your name. I mean, don't send anything to this all capital letter name that has to do with asking for money.
We'll settle it. It's settled. We know this guy. He's honorable.
Right. And then they will leave you alone. But I think out of that, you take it far enough, you can get the black card or whatever it is, where if a cop pulls you over, you just give them this thing, and in their nation, you have sovereign immunity. And it doesn't. It just says you can do whatever you want, basically, and how can we help you?
Yep.
Need a car? Ask for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Need an airplane ride? Ask for it. Where do you want to go? So, because they're the nation of servants. They are our vassals, and that's what the.
Well, we're their servants too. We do what we love and give it all, and take what we need. I mean, I look at it. We're both servants and I don't know, right. Like to say.
But we didn't take an oath, right? They took an oath.
Well, could it be by obeying the rule be the same as? Well, I don't like to claim an oath either. I know what you're saying, but basically,
you should never claim an oath. But they did, brother. They took an oath to God, to follow this set of rules called the Constitution. Well, in the Constitution it says basically common law is king, and they don't have they have limited jurisdiction common law. You have final jurisdiction. So you don't need to go in there as an enemy. It's never a belligerent, brother. You go to somebody who knows.
You're going in there by the main rule is to love and honor one another. The main rules there. And there is no law if you're doing that, from the way I understand it.
I'm not going to see a judge. I'm going to see one of my administrators.
Well, brothers, man.
Yeah. But he is a brother. But he took an oath to be your vassal. That's what that oath is. You know.
You gonna hold that against him?
No, I'm gonna give him a hug, brother. You know.
I hear you.
You're my best tenant. You know, I love you. I got a few more things you could do for me. I want to go see the relics in the Vatican. You know, give me an airplane ride. Let me know when it's coming.
Might happen before you know it.
Just have to ask. You know, doesn't hurt to ask. They can only say no or give it to you. You know, I've known that for my whole life. You know, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Could be as simple as sending all the bills to the Vatican, seeing as he claims to be the vicar of God.
Well, that's what these guys did with these live birth records, and the only one who got it, who has their, his baptismal records are removed because he went and looked to the vaults, and his is removed, and his siblings are still there. They have taken them off the baptismal rolls, and that doesn't happen very often. But he got it because he wasn't asked, or he didn't. He still had a piece of paper that he sent the Pope.
They got their attention.
Showed up in person. A living man walked in the door with a piece of paper, said it was his, and they honored it.
Testimony, first-hand testimony.
Took Took him off the rolls, and I don't know what that means, but that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important if you're going to do anything. The paperwork is just to memorialize an event, like you went in there to talk to the judge and you couldn't get to see him at the moment, so you left a memorandum. Hey, could you contact me? Could we set up an appointment for such and such? And other than that, to me, paperwork is a waste of time after what I've learned. But
right. It is, you know. So as a king, you don't write paperwork. You let the administrator write it. You put your thumb on it, and it's done, because he can transfer it into the fiction of the public and make happen whatever needs to happen without any liability, because he has the king's blessing to do it.
Yeah. Well, all it is, I think the reason for the debt like it is out there is because people are claiming ownership. So they're keeping track of the people claiming crap. Other than that, it's all here to use, and it's nothing for them to zero it off once they realize there's no claim on the name.
Right.
They can.
Well, I'm not going to use claim, but you're absolutely right, and that's the idea of the birth certificate is nothing more than a lease, and you know contract law. They're holding the lease. They have liability, not you. You just need to go tell them as a man instead of a person that's the case, and then they will set the debts off against your name and your ancestor's name, because it's being held in treasure trove, and whatever that caused in the national debt will disappear. I mean, ones and zeros will change in computers. I'm not saying they're going to bring you a bunch of money. That's not the point. Whatever portion of the national debt you ever created is now gone. And whoever does that, theirs is gone. Well, where is that coming from? Because it's disappearing in the public because it's being set off with your credit. And common law says they're just waiting for you to step forward as a man and claim it. And the common law coroner is a central figure, because in common law, that position's existed for 1,000 years.
Yeah, it's been here a while.
Well, all he did, his real job in common law is the keeper of the king's pleas, or the king's orders, is what it is in common law. Forget what they say please is now. It's the king's orders, and the protector of his property. And he's supposed to keep an eye on the sheriff.
Oh, yeah, he's over the sheriff.
That's what he does for the king, man. He keeps an eye on the sheriff, watches the king's property, and issues his orders. And Boris has already seen him. I think,
Yeah.
And the way you can tell is if it's a division that recovers drowned bodies, only a common law coroner can do that. That's the law. So most of them are now sheriffs. In Michigan, they're all sitting in the sheriff's chair. Because the common law sheriff, has vacated his office, and it says in the law that the common law sheriff vacates his office, the coroner can fill it. But a sheriff can never fill a coroner's office.
Right.
So they're sitting in that office as the common law coroner, but they have another office called the statute civil sheriff. And he's a key to, he's just a person that can make this happen.
Keeper of the evidence.
Keeper of the evidence. A man walked up to me today and said he was an immortal living soul created in the image of God, and I can't rebut it. He's not dead. Who better to say you're not dead than the coroner? I got a live one here.
Yeah.
I think somehow he's mixed up in the whole thing.
He could be the man to see. I have yet to experiment.
Well, I'm poking at the edges, man. I went to look at one, so I went to City Hall because I said, I'm the king. I'm not driving 25 miles to the Sheriff's Department. I'm going to find the first magistrate I can and, peacefully tell him who I am, tell him what I want, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not going to jail because they won't take you to jail. If you claim to be an immortal living soul created in the image of God, they're not going to touch you.
Yeah, every city, I think, has got their own coroner, and every county's got one.
Right.
I don't know about every city, but every county, I'm pretty sure, has got a county coroner.
Well, every county is supposed to have at least one common law coroner. The way Blackstone has it, every county has 4. Some may have more, a few may have less. Well, what does that mean? So any number, but it never said there could be no counties without one. But it specifically says the duty of the common law coroner is to recover drowned bodies. So when I started looking for the coroner in Michigan, we don't have coroners. Oh, that was turned over to medical examiners.
Think about this. Recover drowned bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do they usually say? He was claimed at sea. Could it be by us claiming the name or claiming the body? And until we show there's no claim on the body, that's why the charges are there. There's a controversy.
Well, brother, what I think it is you have been in law, you've been unconscious, right? Or you've been away, because in law, if you're say you are in a religion, well, every pastor is a father, so you're a minor, right? And these are all the ways they keep you from this. It's not so much a claim. The only claim is, I've grown up. I'm no longer a child. I'm an adult, and I'm claiming my inheritance from the Creator. That's all you're claiming. And they won't rebut that if you come as a man in peace. But if you come as a man at war, well, because as much as it's the words, it's really the intent, right? It doesn't matter what you say, it's what you do.
Right.
Are you a man of your word, right? And so they're going to watch you, and as long as you're a man of your word, you are protected for the rest of your life in the system. You're not in their system anymore. And whatever you wish is yours. Now, whatever those pieces of paper are, plastic, so you can operate in their society, because now you're outside of it, I don't care. What's our exchange? We're 2 foreign nations. What do we exchange?
So they want me to carry so-called documentation, identification for the protection of the public. Sure, give me it.
Give me your piece of plastic, and give me something that looks like a credit card. So when I say I want to, I would like to, claim right of use of this or use of this, well, here, take this piece of plastic, run it through, and it will say that I can,
Yep,
to them, it's ones and zeros, but to me, it means I get to use it. I don't care.
The public. Well, yeah.
I don't care what it looks like in the public. That's not my concern. I
Depends,
just want to use it.
You want to stay in honor with everybody the best you're able. And
Right.
some people think money is honorable, and who are you to argue, you see? And as long as they think they're getting money, who are you to argue with?
It's all fiction. It doesn't matter. Exactly. So I don't care what it needs to look like in your society, as long as this piece of plastic you gave me does it.
I got what I need. Who am I to bitch? You see?
Who am I to bitch? I'm at peace with everybody. You want that in your society? Fine. Here you go. I'll give a cop something that says do not detain, do not harass, do not whatever, and offer all assistance. Yeah, that is a card I'd like to carry in my wallet, Run that and talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you, once it's in there, they'll just run the license plate and They'll go about their business.
Right. You will have guardian angels. You will never be bothered by the public again. You will have guardian angels. I want somebody to watch me, you know.
Yeah.
I want to be able to roam the earth, do it as I please, and not be harassed.
I'm vulnerable.
I may be in China, right. I'm out here, brother. I need my guardian angels. And, well, you know, they called the Jesuits. You know, they're going to know where you are, and I don't care. Please know where I am at any minute. I may need you now.
That's why.
Because some druggie walked up with a gun and wants to shoot me. Well, you know, I'm sorry, man. I'm not dying for him.
It's like people worried about privacy. I call that another patriot myth.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
I agree.
The conscience knows all. You're being judged in the court of conscience right now. You know, wherever the spirits are, they know what's going on. You know,
you ever watch Revolver?
Well, it would have been a long time ago. So, you know, but I do notice in all these movies these similarities. So please give me one that ties into, you know, the reality of what we're in. You know, because
Revolver I thought was a good one. Mr. Gold. He knows everything. Who's Mr. Gold? I believe it's yourself. Like Santa Claus. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Who judges you first? Huh?
Right.
What's the unpardonable sin? Could it be it's all forgiven, but you have yet to forgive yourself? Could that be the unpardonable sin?
You better look in that mirror every day and say, I forgive you, brother. You know, you're getting closer. You know, you're moving away from war towards peace. It's a journey. And as long as you're headed that way, you will be protected. But you may be tested, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because whatever the Creator thinks you need is what you're getting.
And it said they will.
Be ready for the test.
It says in that book, they will persecute you.
Well, they can persecute you, you know, but that doesn't... What's the next line? What did they find if they persecuted you? Did they let you go or, you know?
Yeah. But if you stay on course, yeah.
Right.
You want praise?
You have to take the test, bro.
You want praise from the government? Do the honorable thing.
Right. But see, it's a test in reason. What's reasonable? Am I acting reasonable or, you know, am I not? And, you know, I'm not here to argue with you. You know, I know who I am. And you know, so if you just leave me alone, then it's been a great day for all of us. I'll buy the coffee. But if you think you're going to charge me with that dead piece of paper sitting there, well, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to allow it, you know. Because that piece of paper is fiction. What does it have to do? Because, you know, we can talk about all we want. At the end of the day, you're going to take your fucking ass, put it in jail. That's what they're talking about, you know, and I'm not going to jail.
I'm good. I try to do my best to stay out of it. I think I'm getting better and better at it. So.
Well, you sound like you're okay in your county. I mean, they know who you are. They don't mess with you, you know. So in reality, none of those guys are your enemy. You know, they're not bothering me.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah, they're all. Well,
I just remember the way the court clerks used to treat me when I first started down here with this shit, and now we're friends.
Exactly.
You know,
there you go.
Get along. They used to look at me like, you know, get the sheriffs out here.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, they're going to give you what you're there for because, you know, they know who you are. You know, you're not another sheep in line taking a piece of paper and, you know, that's all we can give you. They say, okay, and walking out. You say, well, no, you know, you can do better. Let me tell you how.
Yeah.
How about this, this, and this? So
I remember that. I wish.
Well, if that's a linchpin, brother, that is a big one because that's what it does say. You're not ordering. You just a king wishes things done, and they're done.
That I believe I can live with.
Good.
I you know, I say I try not to be offensive. You know.
Not very well.
Well, I mean, in a matter when it comes getting to know people and getting.
I listen to you enough to, you know, I know how Batman is. You know, I'm not intimidated.
I gotta play the game here. Let's see what I got to work with, and then we can start having a discussion here. You know?
Well, that's what we need to do, brother, because there's a lot of sharp tacks out here trying to get, you know, I just want to be left alone, and I shouldn't have to go work at your fucking job to get my food, you know. I should be able to do what I want to do because I'm not going to sit on my ass. I'm a doer. I've been a doer my whole life. You know, I'm going to wish that you give me that empty factory you just closed down. I'm going to make something in it and give it away for free because I could do that, you know.
There you go.
That's what I could do.
I got a nice big shop sitting right across the street from me that's vacant at the moment. I was thinking of moving in on it.
There you go. You could have it because it is yours to claim, my friend. In common law, done right, as you had said, it's not being used. You can claim it, or whatever word you want to use. I don't like to use the word claim because to me that is statute law, and I'm trying to get that out of my mind.
You're right. Mainly, what I would be doing is asking if anybody objects if I use it. And that's
they won't.
mainly the way I look at it.
Yeah. And I wish to have, whatever it is you decide it is you want to do with it. You wish to have the equipment to do it, and you can have it.
Yeah.
And that takes the pressure off the system because it really needs to work on the credit. They've run out of credit for us in their system, I guess.
Well, the Federal Reserve notes is, I believe it's something like it's currency. And before, the more they got to create because people are claiming ownership of it, it wasn't made to hoard, in my opinion. It's made to flow like the river. And the more people hoard it, the more they got to put out, the less value a society has.
Right.
The currency
Right.
loses its value because the people are losing their value. They're laying claim on their brothers.
Right. But the only way to change that is, I know nothing about double entry bookkeeping except what I've heard on talkshoes, right?
Yeah.
And it's credit and debt. And the only thing missing from zeroing those accounts is you walking forward as a man and knowing that that birth certificate is a lease that you have with the public, and they're holding your rent in reserve. That's what it says in the law. You just need to step forward as a man. But you can't do it as a person. You have to be a trinity of mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And once you get that status, then the debt that is against, whatever your real name is just disappears. It means nothing to you personally because, it didn't change anything. But that will reduce the national debt, and then the dollar becomes more valuable, and the people that do that will then control the country. It doesn't need the United States of America is just a corporation, and we'll be the fucking stockholders. We're not going to war, boys. Bring all these people home. Time out. We're in charge, and we're at peace. As long as you don't bother us, have at it. Have a great life. You want to trade something? Because we have a lot of resources and very, very useful people who are fucking sitting here doing nothing. Put me to work in what I want to do, and I'll fucking work all day long.
Yep. There we go. Wish, eager, desire, longing, expression of desire, a thing desired.
It's a desire.
An
right?
object. I wish to use that property.
Right. I desire to use that property. Is there a problem? It's not being used. In common law, there is no problem. It's all public property.
It's all here.
If it isn't being used, you can use it. You can use the power. You can use, I wish I had, I'm not going to go to that level. So look, I'm turning this into a factory, and I need whatever it takes to do it. You figure it out, and I'll put my thumbprint on it. That's what an administrator does.
I think that comes to when getting it totally right. You're going to have the access to whatever you need.
Right. So do I, and that's where I'm headed. I'm trying to get to there because
you and me both.
Right.
I've not been trying that hard lately. I've been just running this whole pie hole more than anything. So.
Well, I'm gonna frickin' poke you then, brother, because I'm out here putting paper on people's desks. I went to City Hall, so I want to find me a magistrate, and Batman. I can see this now. The more I look, so I get to the counter, and the lady says, "Well, how can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I'm the landlord here looking for the common law coroner to collect some rent."
Yeah.
Because that's why I'm there. I'm the king,
I go there, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did, man. Well, why am I there? Well, that is why I'm there. And I tell you what, her head started going little fucking circles, and her eyes went in the corner of her head. It's like I put her in a trance, man.
Does not compute.
And she said, well, what do you say? So, I'll say it slower if you want to write it down, but I'm I'm the landlord looking for the common law coroner to collect my rent. And so, we went on. I knew that I wasn't getting anything from her. That's just a test, brother. Get beyond her. Who's the next one you need to get to the magistrate, These are all gatekeepers you need to get to.
Exactly.
Right? They're just gatekeepers. I have no animosity because I know she doesn't fucking know a thing. Hell, I didn't know a fucking thing,
Yeah.
And in the conversation, I found out she's been there 34 years. Well, I know she doesn't know a fucking thing at all.
Oh, there's not too many people that think kind of like we do that walk up and down these streets every day.
No. So I'm having a conversation with her for about 5 minutes, and then this other lady chimes in, because she's never heard this shit either, And she says, well, I don't know what law you're talking about. And I said, well, you got a law book here? And then some guy in the corner he had 2 coins in the way they sounded to me, there were 2 quarters, was kind of rubbing them in his hand, right? And he says, well, does this look like a legal library? And I said, brother, I am practicing law. I am the law. You got a Bible here? When you can look in there and show me I'm not the landlord, and born in the image of God, then I'll back off. Because I was trying to get them to take my birth certificate, which I told them, this is a lease here. Send it to the common law court or tell them to collect my rent. It's due by 6 p.m. That's what the law book says. So the problem was there wasn't a fucking magistrate in the building. It was, he's golfing or whatever the hell he was doing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He's not in the office.
Well, he's got a pager. Tell him to get his ass in.
I did. I said, well, fucking call him, man. I don't care.
They're got 24/7. They're on call.
I had him I'd bat her, but her head was spinning, Batman. Her fucking for 10 minutes, her head was doing little circles. I was like, wow, I don't want to hurt this woman. I've gotten as far as I'm going to. I'll go home. But I did that on Monday. It's like, well, where will this go? I don't know. But finally, this guy said, well, maybe we better file that, because I said, well, make a copy of my birth certificate. I'll put my seal on it, and you just fax it to the common law coroner, tell him to call me if he has any questions. I just want him to collect the rent. So I haven't heard anything, but I did get this guy who had said, well, this is an illegal library. I said, brother, I ain't practicing law. I am the law. You got a Bible in this building anywhere? Bring me the law book, And that shut him up. And then is when he said, well, maybe we better file that after all. That's good enough for today, and I left. So, and the only reason I did that, Batman, is because I know they can't put me in jail because, I know the magic words. It worked with 2 Treasury agents. They may put me in a holding cell, but as soon as the magistrate hears what I said, they're going to roll the red carpet out.
The thing of it is, how can he pay you?
Right. He knows better, So, whoa. You better, they will be apologizing if I ask for it.
The thing of it is, though, how can the judge even pay you? Or the magistrate?
Right. He can't. I wasn't asking for that, but I wanted to get somebody who was under an oath, who these people, they don't know they're under his oath. They don't fucking know that. But I know that the magistrate does. See, because anybody who holds a public office is a magistrate. The highest chief magistrate in the United States of America, the president, they're all magistrates. But the ones who wear the robes are just judicial magistrates. But the definition of a magistrate in common law is to do to be an administrator for the king. Yeah.
I just call them glorified bankers, but anyway.
Yeah. They're fucking paper pushers, man. They should be sitting at a desk. They should be sitting in cubicles. That's where most administrators sit in corporations. They don't have a freaking palace. They sit in a fucking cubicle. But they're just an administrator to you, so you'll do, man. Just tell the common law coroner, I want him to go collect the rent. But there was no magistrates in the building. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So you guys are real close, brother. You're right there. You just ask the next question and they'll answer it. When you get them in the right situation, they will answer it. That's my belief. And I just want the answers. I don't hate anybody, man. Just give me the answers. And then I'll make a reasonable decision on what I want to do.
Yeah.
So. Well, what time is it in Tennessee? It's 12:30 here. So
yeah, it's about that here, too.
Is it? All right. Well, thanks for putting up with me, man, because, some people take me wrong, and I don't mean to be taken wrong. I'm a little bit forceful. I spent 10 years in the Army. I know how to bark.
That explains a lot.
I was trained by the Jesuits. I'm very good at what I do. They're very good trainers. You want to see somebody who can train somebody fast in anything, put them in the military.
Oh, yeah.
They'll develop a plan that'll fucking train. But it's training. I mean, they train dogs, man. That's all it is, just training. It's no knowledge. It's bark and get a fucking bone, man.
Yeah.
So
anyway, well, it's been good talking with you. Till next time.
Well, I hope we get to talk again. And
all right.
It was enjoyable, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
See ya. Bye bye.